Welcome to the news. All over the nation, music has been sweeping, in some places harder than others. Now over to Hannah in the media rooms.
Hello and welcome to the Fact Corner. I'm Hannah Dolman. Now, today we're going to be talking about a variation of things, starting with reverberation. Now, this is the lingering of sound after the original sound has stopped. This is created when a sound is produced in an enclosed space. For instance, an auditorium, which causes the build-up of echoes. As the reflections of sound continue beyond the source, the amplitude gradually decreases and slowly dies out as it's absorbed by the surrounding walls and air. Talking of absorption, this occurs in a live room. Now, live rooms is where the vibrations reflect around all of the walls until the vibrations slowly sizzle out. The opposite to this would be a dead room. Now, a dead room means that there is no reflections of sound. This can be caused by using the room within a room setup. That is when you have a room and then a gap of air and then another room. This has been the Fact Corner. I'm Hannah Dolman. Back to you, Dick.
We've got Phil here today so we can interview him about the sound issues. Can you tell us the 7 things about sound that we need to know?
Yeah, so you need to know about sound bites, about soundproofing, audio effects, a bit on surround sound, something about unwanted noise, and also dead rooms and live rooms.
Could you start off with the dead rooms?
Yeah, I can start off with the dead rooms. What would you like to know?
Just the gist of what the dead means out of dead rooms.
The dead out of dead rooms is about the fact that the sound is called acoustically dead, so it doesn't bounce back off the walls.
You're talking about reverb and echo.
I am talking about reverb and echo, in that there will be no reverb and hopefully no echo either.
So a live room would be the opposite to that?
Yeah, live rooms generally are the opposite to that. Usually it's where instrumentalists record and the sound will be reverberant, it will bounce off the surfaces in the wall, and that's generally a positive thing for a live room.
And the sound bites, that is the different pieces of data of the audio?
Yeah, generally a soundbite would be if you were to do a really long interview and then you take just the important points and that would then be your soundbite. So it might be like this interview here where you might record me for hours and then you would just say the most important part of what I've had to say in this interview in a very short segment.
So the surround sound?
Yeah.
There's a certain way you can set up surround sound, isn't there?
Yeah, a couple of ways you can set up surround sound, whether you want to do a 5.1 or a 7.1 surround sound.
Please explain those.
Yeah. With a 5.1 you've got 5 satellites and 1 subwoofer, and with a 7.1 you've got 7 satellites and 1 subwoofer.
The satellites being the smaller speakers?
Exactly, the smaller speakers are placed generally around the room.
And sound effects?
Sound effects, well there's lots and lots of sound effects that you could sort of apply to any track. The most common ones are delay, where you've got the signal and then you've got a copy of it and it's delayed as well, so you get sort of one then the other. Another could be distortion, where you distort the signal. And they're 2 quite common ones actually.
Could you explain unwanted noise for us?
Well, unwanted noise is going to be anything that gets into your recording that you don't want to be there.
Like the sound of the camera recording or...
Like the sound of the camera recording, or trains going by, or a plane coming overhead, or maybe even just the clock that you don't really want in your recording.
And you can get past this through soundproofing, yes?
Yeah, you can get past it through soundproofing, where if you've got a soundproof room, that will usually block out things like airplanes and stuff.
How would you soundproof something? Is there specific ways you can soundproof a room?
Yeah, you can use all kinds of materials, whether it's concrete or foam or wood or steel, and they sort of stop sound in different amounts, basically.
I think that's all we need today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
And now to the weather.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Brookfield, and I'm your local weatherman. Okay, from the north, we got some effects, and they're rolling in deep. Some light breezes, some echoes coming in all the way down to Leeds and Manchester, hitting Sheffield just with a pinch. And this will be very hard for Scotland, because Scotland won't get any of the sun, just maybe the reverb. Okay, now coming in from Ireland, we got some live room. Now, live room, of course, is where the sound is bouncing off the walls. The sound's going to be bouncing off the walls. Ireland's going to be struck hard. There is not going to be anyone outside. It's going to be all loud. It's going to be crazy. But then, of course, near London, we're going to have the opposite. We've got some dead room swooping in, gushing in all the way through Birmingham and all the way through Wales. Dead room will not be bouncing off any walls, sad to say. All in all, if you're living in Birmingham, for dead room, you want to get outside. Get outside, there won't be any sound. You want to get your ears flowing. If you're living in Ireland, you want to stay indoors. Like sound's going to be bouncing and bouncing all around. And in Scotland, the effects, you're going to have some very big reverb and some echoes all in your ears. I've been Lawrence Brookfield. Peace.
Random fact time.
And now to Andy.
So in audio post-production you can get something called EQ, which stands for equalization, which is an effect that you put on the soundbite in post-production, and it allows you to rework the frequencies. So you can change such things as the low frequencies, which would be bass, you can make them higher or lower, depending on what you need. And you can do the same with high frequencies as well, and it just allows it to be a little bit more professional. You can also get something called compression, which kind of does the same thing, but that's for volume. So any low volume in the mix, you can raise up, and if you have any sounds which are too high, you can lower those as well, which just allows everything to kind of iron out the creases.
And back to me.
And we'll be right back after these short messages.
You mean sort of person, it's a girl. Give me some ammo, man. Ammo! Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Don't know. I don't remember anything.
And we're back.
And now to Tom.
Am I introducing anything?
No, just to say.
Surround sound comes in either 5.1 or 7.1. This means that you have 5 speakers and 1 subwoofer, or 7 speakers and 1 subwoofer, and they're usually placed all around the room, so you get a hall of sound around you, so it sounds like more realistic than it would do if you've just got a set of speakers at the front, as it were. The setup of speakers usually are within, like, in the corners and to the sides, and then you put the subwoofer in the front because the bass is obviously lower and it comes from underneath. But that's surround sound. That's
You did.
And back to me.
A lot of questions have been speculated around the music industry. Now let's go to Larry in the field with a real-life music student.
Hi, I'm Ross Brookfield, and I'm here with Rob to talk about some music, sound on sound. Okay, Rob, so the first question really of the day is, what does soundproofing involve?
Is it blocking out sounds from an exterior so you can record well inside?
Well, it's actually soundproofing involves isolating a room from any other outside noise, and this can be done in various ways. Such as sealing openings, making sound-absorbent walls, and minimising the passage of sound particles that are entering through. But really close, really close. Okay, the second question. What's the difference between a live room and a dead room?
I have no idea.
That's exactly right. A live room, basically, is where the sound can bounce off the walls. And with a dead room, the sound actually doesn't bounce, it actually just dies, so there's no echo. Okay, so actually, that's another point. With sound effects, what can you tell us about that?
I don't even do music. I have no idea. Sorry. You need to get someone else.
Well, back to you, Deck.
And that's it for our very first music news. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've been cancelled. Goodbye.